Okay, we've been sent another case here. This looks like an edentulous site, tooth number 19. And this is a very common theme I see from many people sending cases in. And so I went ahead and duplicated the plan so that way we can compare my plan to the previous plan. And real quick, what I want to do, one other thing I want to point out is um, in many of these cases, I like to see my tooth data. And the reason I like to see it is one, it allows me to evaluate our design. And then two, it also allows me to evaluate the soft tissue to see if our sleeve is going to be in the soft tissue. So for example, here I can see that the sleeve is going to be in the soft tissue. So based on this, I would know that I would have to flap this case. And the other thing that allows me to do is check the design. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this. Um, and this is a pet peeve of mine, and one of the things that we talk about in all our classes, and that is when we design these teeth, we need to design them based on what we're seeing. So as we can tell, we won't have the tooth coming down this low. In fact, I would probably say that our tooth would probably really only come to about right here. Okay. And the reason this becomes important is if we draw it so badly, then we design it based on bad data. So I'm a big believer in doing it right, and that comes into play right here. In this particular case, you can see the dentist used the 3 millimeter rule to determine the place of the implant. But if this implant restoration was designed too long to begin with, as we can clearly see here, then we're measuring the 3 millimeters from a wrong spot. So I do want us to take a look closer at 3D data, sorry, at our CEREC plan when we're doing these. Let's go ahead and check the accuracy of our integration, and it looks very, very good. So we can verify that this is a good case to send for an Opti guide. Now, let's focus on the implant plan itself. So what I see very often is the desire to avoid doing grafting, and will place the implant quite deep. So in this particular case, one option is to place the implant deep and remove all this bone. I have tremendous concerns about removing so much bone and what it does to the interproximal bone and how it affects the restorability and cleansability of this case. For me, this case is pretty straightforward. I would go ahead and move the implant way up here. Okay, probably about right there. Get more ideal positioning. And one other thing I want to check on the CEREC plan is our design itself is actually pretty good. If anything, yeah, the design itself is very good. It's just that our margin was drawn way too low. So I would plan this case about like so. Um, the tilt may be off a little bit there. I plan this case about like so right here, and then go to something about 10 millimeters long, and then maybe tilt it just a bit there. I designed the case like this, plan on a little bit of bone resorption, and then I would do some concurrent grafting at the time of placement, bury the implant, come back in, and then restore the tooth. So the benefit of going up higher, one is it's more cleansable. Two, we maintain interproximal bone. Three, we can place a longer implant. And I would be comfortable doing a concurrent graft on this because we're going to gain plenty of stability here with all of this threading and all of that threading. I would do a full thickness flap, expose the bone, do my osteotomy, place the implant, do some cortical plate circular with a round burr to create bleeding, add my graft material, place a membrane, maybe do some periosteal split there to be able to create primary stability. After we open up, bulk out the issue, we'll have some issues with primary closure. So then we can do some periosteal release here, get primary closure, put everything back together again. Um, Other than that, this case was planned out pretty well. I would definitely avoid planning the implant that deep. If you're not comfortable doing concurrent grafting, then consider doing grafting as pre-implant surgery in this particular case. Thank you.